You are listening to Quality Time, a podcast designed to support Nebraskan providers through their journey with Step Up to Quality. I am your host, Colleen Schmidt. Get ready to listen as we prepare to elevate each other as we step up to quality. Welcome back, listeners. Today we are speaking with Angela Thelen. She is from the Nebraska Department of Education. She's going to share with us a bit about the Nebraska Early Learning Library. So before we start hearing about the amazing things that all encompass the Nebraska Early Learning Library, Angela, can you share with our listeners a little bit about your professional story and what type of work you do now to support our Nebraskan providers?
Of course. Hi, Colleen, and thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here and to share some more information on the Nebraska Early Learning Library. But first, I will share a little bit more about myself. I grew up in Omaha, Nebraska, and I attended college at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. I have been working in the early education field for a little over a decade now. I got my very first job as a part-time teacher at a child care center near my high school. And I knew almost immediately that this was something I was going to want to continue to pursue professionally. After that, I worked at two different centers during my time in Lincoln while I was going to college. What else? After graduating with my degree in psychology, I became a behavioral health tech at the Boys Town Residential Treatment Center. I was there for a couple of years, and I was working with school-age children that had, more serious behavioral health and mental health problems. But in 2017, I returned to childcare and worked as a lead infant teacher for 6 years until I found this exciting opportunity to work for the Nebraska Department of Education Office of Early Childhood. In my current position in the Early Childhood Training Center, I manage the Nebraska Early Learning Library, which is why we're here today. In doing this, my job is to connect early childhood professionals and families to valuable early education resources and professional development materials. On top of managing the library, I also do some of the behind the scenes work with NECPERs, such as verifying training certificates and reviewing pre-service applications, as well as also offering technical assistance for NECPERs users.
Well, you've worn cool hats.
Yes.
You have. You've kind of done all the things. You worked with childcare. I did too. I also went to UNL and worked at a few childcare. I mean, you really learn a lot pretty quick. working in centers as you're studying. And then you worked with Boys Town and then went back to babies?
Yes. It was a big switch.
That is a switch. I love that you were a lead infant teacher.
It was my favorite.
You know, I always think, because I've worn different hats too, Angela, and I always think that they all still somehow connect. And even though my how looks different, and I hope it continues to change and evolve, my why is always the same.
Right.
And, I'm sure your why is the same as my why, and that's supporting Nebraskan children and families. So
yes.
You mentioned that that's part of your role now, is really supporting providers and families with the Nebraska Early Learning Library. Tell our listeners, first of all, what is this? What is the Nebraska Early Learning Library?
Of course. So the Nebraska Early Learning Library is a fantastic resource for providers and for the public as well. It is a large collection of books, assessments, and curriculum materials that are all focused on early education. The library is split into several sections. Some of the sections that the library have are focused on topics like child development, social emotional, math and science, language and literacy, arts and activities, special education, and even more. We have a large section on curriculum materials and books that are perfect for providers that may need some fresh ideas for their weekly lesson plans. From my experience as being a lead teacher, I know that it can get to be a lot to come up with new lessons every single week, especially if they need to be around a theme. And so you want to find activities that you also enjoy doing. So it's perfect for teachers that just need fresh ideas. It's also great, the curriculum section, for directors that may be looking into adopting a new curriculum for their program. That way they're able to preview materials before purchasing, which might save them some money. On top of that, we also have sections on testing and assessments. So this includes testing and assessments like the environmental rating scale, which is the ERS, Edders and Eckers, ASQ, and class. But this list isn't exhaustive. We also have assessments that can be used for individual children and individual classrooms. We allow patrons to check out up to 3 items for 3 weeks, but not to worry. If anyone would need to keep items for longer, it is super simple to renew and extend your due date. All you would have to do is give the library a call or shoot me an email, and I could get that extended for you guys. Another cool thing about the library is if you were to prefer videos to books, we also have a whole section dedicated to DVDs that are focused on different EC topics. And along with DVDs, we also have a small technology and research center that includes a computer and a other desk. That's for people who, if they want to come in and do research, or if they want more hands-on help with NECPERS, may it be signing up or getting registered for trainings, anything like that. So in short, it is your one-stop shop for early learning resources.
One-stop shop. Okay, my next question, you mentioned that there's opportunities to kind of browse and look and maybe even study at the library. Where the heck is it?
Okay, that is a great question. So if you would like to come to the physical location, the library is located on the 2nd floor of the ESU 3 building. The ESU 3 is the Educational Service Unit 3, which is located in La Vista, Nebraska. It is just off the intersection of 110th and Harrison. The library resides inside of the Early Childhood Training Center. So if you do come to the ESU 3 building, you'll find yourself in the front lobby, and you would check in at the front desk. And then there's a very large set of stairs in the middle of the room that you can't miss. There's also an elevator that you can go up. So at the very top of the stairs, you take an immediate left, and then the first door on your left is the library. So that kind of sounds like a lot of information and kind of complicated, but I trust it's very easy to find, and the front desk is always willing to help and point you in the right direction.
I have to admit something, Angela. Yes. I live in Omaha. I am in ESU 3 all the time. I have never stepped foot.
Oh my gosh.
I know, in the Nebraska Early Learning Library. And I feel like that's a huge missed opportunity for my professional development. What if I live not anywhere near ESU 3? How do I access the Nebraska Early Learning Library then?
Yeah, so we have a online catalog as well that can be browsed online. I do want to clarify that it's not an app. So it is a website, so no users have to download or install anything. It's very simple to use. Once you get to the online catalog, the homepage will have a list of books that were recently added, or you can even search by specific topics, keywords, titles, author. So then once you find a book that you would like to check out, all you have to do is hit the request hold button, and fill out a short form, and then that will send me an email that a book was requested, and I will reach out via email to set up your account. And then once that is done, I will either ship your books or hold them for you if you'd like to come in person to pick them up. So it's a very simple process that anyone anywhere in Nebraska can do. To get there to the online catalog, we have a web page on the Office of Early Childhood website. So you can find it by doing that, by going there, or you can type in bit.ly/Nell Library. I could spell that. It's bit.ly. NEL library.
I think we'll link it too with our podcast. I'm going to see if the people who do the magical work behind the scenes
Oh yeah, that's
can
perfect.
kind of put that in our show notes, because I feel what a gift this is to have for our providers. Are there any requirements to sign up? Like, can it be anyone? Are there certain pieces that I have to, like, do I need to be licensed? Can it just be anyone? I know you mentioned families as well can use this as a support.
So no, there are no requirements. It is completely open to the public. So all you have to do when requesting a book, you don't have to have a previous account. You hit that request hold button, and there'll be a little form for you to fill out with some information on on like your number and your email. And then if you would like the book shipped to you, there's a comment box where you can write ship to and then your email address.
Yep.
And then once I get that notification that a book has been requested, that's when I reach out, and that's when I would set up your account. And so anyone can do this. And the account is just for the library to keep track of who has checked out what books and when.
You mentioned earlier about, there's an opportunity to kind of browse through curriculums, and how if you're a director or a family provider and you own your own business and you're thinking about adopting a curriculum. So is it the same process for that? Like, if I'm wanting to browse through a research-based curriculum that I'm really into, I can set up an account and request that, and you would send it to me?
So it depends on what you would like to look at. So some of our curriculum materials are available for that to be shipped out. But we do have some bigger curriculum programs that are in large boxes that need to stay together that are for in-house browsing only.
Yep, that makes good sense. I was going to say, I was like, how the
yes,
shipping a lot of stuff. I think this is an amazing resource that maybe not a lot of people know about. And I already shared my little honest moment. Like, I kind of knew of it, but I've never gone to the early learning library, and I didn't realize the amount of resources that are kind of at our fingertips that are untouched. So I want to know a little, and maybe you don't know, Angela, and that's okay, but why was this created? Maybe how long have we had this? Like, what's the purpose?
So we all know how important our children are to us and to our future. And in order to care for them the best we can, that requires knowledge and understanding of the early childhood years. So yes, it is possible to look online for resources or go to a city library, but the Early Learning Library is home to only early childhood resources. There is no guesswork. If you're in the library, you can and will find something that will teach you something. So that is why the library was created, to make learning about early childhood more accessible for anyone that wants to. This is also why the library ships all books and materials for absolutely free. We will ship the items to the entire state of Nebraska. And we also include a prepaid return shipping label, so there's no hassle there. Our number one main goal is to increase accessibility to early learning materials and to promote knowledge sharing on this specific topic. Our little ones deserve the best, and so that our library is trying to achieve that.
Oh, I think this is so cool. And it really, what you just said about, our kids are the why, and it's important for us as professionals in the field to stay, keep a growth mindset and understand that we are always still learning about best practice with young children. So I want to know too, are there opportunities for professional learning or service hours tied in with the Nebraska Early Learning Library?
Yes, there definitely is. So with the variety of topics that the library holds, it is the perfect resource for someone who would like to do independent study for in-service hours. So it is normally 12 hours for full-time providers each year.
Mm-hmm.
Um, an independent study essentially allows you to set your own path to complete those hours. So the Early Learning Library is perfect because you can find a book on a topic that you are highly interested in. And I think this is great because, let's face it, it's not always fun to complete 12 hours of
Yep.
required training. Not that you can't find great trainings, but it's just not always what you want to do. So when you can find something to study that you know you are already interested in or that you already love, not only will you take more away from it, you'll enjoy learning. And so it kind of takes some of the pressure off of those required hours. And not only that, it can be done on your own time. So it's perfect for busy parents, busy providers, people that are in school, and even the people that are doing all three of those things.
Yeah.
So it provides that flexibility. And another plus is it's completely free. So no paying for expensive trainings. And plus, I'm at the library every day, so I'm also available to offer suggestions on independent study materials, or even just point anyone in the right direction of a general topic to find a specific book.
I love that we have an option for independent study for professional development because I agree with you. 12 hours, even though it is important that we keep our hours and, have that growth mindset.
Yes.
12 hours can seem sometimes overwhelming. And people learn different ways. Like if you know that self-study is not for you and that you will not actually read or engage in the materials, then maybe don't go that route. Like then you sign up for an actual professional development that is approved for hours. But if you are someone who you learn best through kind of going at your own pace, following your interests, like what you said, Angela, what a good idea. I think that's an amazing opportunity. I did not know that was a thing. Again, like this podcast is more eye-opening for me than maybe some of our listeners, but I have a feeling I'm not the only one who didn't really understand what the Nebraska Early Learning Library was. I also have a feeling more people are going to be emailing you soon, Angela.
So I look forward to it.
Good. I think this is just a great way to kind of use this platform to share a resource that we have here in Nebraska for anyone across the state and get our little gears turning for how we can really still strive to do what's best for young kids. So share with us again, how can I find more information about the Learning Library? And then after I find this cool information, is what can I do to share it out with colleagues or friends or others in the field?
Yeah, so we always love when people want to help us share the word. So you would find more information on that bit.ly.nel library website that I mentioned earlier on the Office of Early Childhood website. This page will tell you a little more about the library, and it also has a link to a downloadable and printable flyer. So it's a flyer all about the library. This is perfect to print and hang on bulletin boards, maybe in your program, or pass out to colleagues or coworkers. Additionally, it also has a link, which I think is really cool, that allows users to request books that they think would be a great addition to the library. I'm always looking for new and updated books to order, so I encourage anyone that has any ideas to use that form. Another great way to spread the word, if anyone was to come visit the library in person, we also have a variety of free bookmarks that have our logo, information, and QR codes that take you to the website. And just for fun, we also carry free pens that have our logo. So if you come in, you can get some goodies. And of course, again, I am also available by phone and email to answer any questions about the library. I could share my email now, or will it be in the notes?
I'm going to ask them to put it in the notes, but share your phone number, Angela.
Okay. So you can also reach me at my phone. It's 402-557-6885. And I am here from 7:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Oh my goodness. Did you ever think you'd be a librarian?
No, but I love it.
I would love that too. I think your job is really cool. And I'm coming to ESU 3 next month. So I'm gonna hunt you down and come. I'm going to get signed up. I'm gonna sign myself up and start looking through books. I love learning about new ideas and reading new information on early childhood. So I might be your new best friend, Angela.
Yes, I would love that.
Well, we have been chatting about self-care on this season, season 2 of our podcast, and we've been asking our guests to share some of their self-care strategies. So do you mind sharing anything that you do for self-care? What are your thoughts on it? What are any sort of ideas or strategies that you use to help take care of yourself so you can continue to take care of the state of Nebraska?
Yes. Let's see. So we all know that working in childcare can be very taxing at times. I mean, we're taking care of these little ones day in, day out for hours at a time. So my thing I think is so important to find some time for yourself each day. And I mean like just truly for yourself. One of my favorite things to do is to watch an episode of my favorite TV show at night. That helps me unwind personally.
Yeah.
But I guess not everyone has time to always sit down and watch an entire episode. So I guess my advice is taking time for yourself can look like a lot of different things. It could be doing a 10-minute walk if that's what you enjoy, working out, reading a couple chapters, meditation, even just going to bed early that night. Either way, even if you have to get creative, I just think find that time for yourself, just for you. And another thing, I think is probably just as important, is to find someone that understands that you can vent to on those hard days, because it is a release. I made a best friend at the last center I worked at, and she'll be my lifelong friend. And we got through things together that working in childcare, not everyone understands that doesn't work in childcare. So just find that trusted person and vent when you need to.
I love what you're saying about that. Like, this is not a job we can do in isolation. And I love how you mentioned, finding any sort of time for yourself, doing something you like. That's really all it is. That's really all self-care is. And making sure that the person you find, there is a difference between venting and just gossiping or tearing others down. Big difference. Venting is I go to my person and then I feel better. Gossiping is I go to my person and try to make someone else look low and myself look high. And everyone is guilty of that, myself included. It is hard, but I love that you're mentioning having someone who understands the challenges. I think I agree with you. That's such an important part of self-care. So, good one, Angela. Thanks for sharing that. And thank you, everyone, for spending quality time with us. Please join again as we chat about future topics to support our Nebraskan providers on their journey with Step Up to Quality. Until next time, bye-bye.